Okay, we are good to go.
Hi, my name is Oluwatobi Michael Akinti, and I'm an actor, TV, radio presenter too. I welcome you officially to the very first episode of this program, right? It's called or it's titled My Uncle and Friend. Of course, I'll be doing this alone. I'll go with me, my dear uncle
My friend. My name is Akin Harrison. I'm a film director and I'm a non-trophy maker. Yeah, I think that's it. And also, maybe I should add this, I'm an idealist. Yeah, let's.
Okay, without wasting much time, I guess by the time we move on with this and when we get into our discussion like we usually do, you get to know us better and get to know each person for their craft. Today, first of all, let me introduce this to you officially. This is just one of those random interesting gists that I have with my uncle. But over time, we thought that it would be nice if we shared this moment with people to see if, first to see if we have persons who also share like opinions with us, and also for some other persons, if we can pick one or two things from one of our conversations, if not all of it. But it is done with no intent to tell you how to think, to enforce opinions on you, or to tell you this is wrong or this is right. It's just a gist. This is just one of our random gists. So I know some people right now will say HFB.
They've come again.
Can you force us? They've come again.
They want to tell us how to think. No, that's
no,
not the
right.
right. That's
It's
not
just
the
random.
idea.
So just sit back, relax, and just enjoy this section of our gist, right? So for the very first episode, we are going to be discussing something that is very relevant at this point in time. Which is something related to Big Brother Nigeria. But we are not going into
No, we're not talking about Big Brother.
all the events that happened in the house. Instead, we're looking at Big Brother in another perspective.
Yeah.
Now, today we want to talk about a topic which is the fan craze of Big Brother Nigeria in relation to politics and other issues in Nigeria. I want to believe that by my assessment, I want to say that I feel that people just got Big Brother in their faces and they just followed, all of the entertaining elements of Big Brother without. I think it's something that has to do with the Nigerian culture. People are always looking to ask questions. Okay, what's this? How did this even come about?
Let's try. What is this program all about?
Instead, the first instinct the average Nigerian gets is, well, what nonsense is this one now?
Like we have with most of our intellectuals. I've listened to a couple of them on radio, on TV, online, and they're like, what nonsense. I've even had an experience with a lawyer friend, a family friend of ours who came at about that time. We lost grandpa.
Grandpa.
Yeah. My dad. Yeah, he came around, and it was about that time. I think it was season 4, not the one they just finished. And the man just came in to condole with us, and I think the program was playing on mute on TV, and he was like, this program, this, that, and all that. And I was just looking at him, but I wasn't in the mood to just start. But if I may let you know, I have been part of not the Big Brother process, but I had a great opportunity way back. Was it 2006 or 2007? I can't remember.
I think that should be the first edition.
Yes, the very first season of Big Brother Nigeria. Yeah, then it was called Big Brother Nigeria. Yes. And I had with cartoon one. I got to be part of the show as a crew member, as actually I was in the department they called the DSTV directors. Basically, what the DSTV directors does is they're in charge of putting commercials. Those commercials you see and you get angry and you're like, oh, why is this commercial? Why is this commercial? Let's watch this program.
Yeah.
And apart from putting on commercials, then we're also in charge of assisting the technical directors. But why I'm speaking in this respect is that why we are not placing commercials, while we are not assisting the technical directors, I personally would have the chance to I would have the opportunity of watching these housemates go about their daily lives in the Big Brother house, and it's very interesting.
Just to tell you, like it's not just a program where people go to enjoy and you from out here you say and you're just eating and sleeping and enjoying themselves. It's a lot
even Big Brother himself, like I've noticed over time, like when like two consecutive seasons I've watched, the moment the housemate gets into the house and the Big Brother voice in his welcome, in his welcoming speech address to them would sound like he's welcoming them to for a social experiment.
Yeah.
You understand? It's basically because you basically get people from different parts, different walks of life, and you put them together. You put them together in a house, and it's not as if it's a house where they come and go, like they go to work or they go to restaurant and they come back. They are not like flatmates. You understand? They are housemates that live together in the house and they have nowhere to go for the duration of the time. And basically what happens is that when you put people together in such situations, they can't escape. Even if you're giving me a bad vibe, I can't run away from it.
I have to remain there.
I have to find a way, devise a means to coexist with you, to cope with the shit you are giving me.
Diplomatically,
it's that funny.
Yes, and just a quick one. All that would not be so surprising if you actually know some things, some little bit of background details to Big Brother.
Yes.
Big Brother was actually formed out of, the concept was gotten from a book.
Yeah.
Titled 1984 by George Orwell. You might want to check.
Yeah, the same author of Animal Farm. I'm sure most of you have heard Animal Farm.
The writer George Orwell is an English writer. He's actually a political person.
So,
but he doesn't go all out putting it in your face. He does it in satirical, kind of stylish, metaphorical ways. Yeah. So, I mean, if you read that book, you will be able to understand the concept of Big Brother better. That thing you see under that image of the hive, you see something like Big Brother is always watching. That was used in the book.
Yeah,
several concepts like that.
Yeah, I mean the story of the book, it's like should I call it a dystopian? I don't know, too much grammar. A dystopian society where totalitarian government, like you have your government watching you. It's like having
devices everywhere.
Yeah, it's like having security camera everywhere, even in your house, and it's routed to the Ministry of Truth. Truth. They get to see everything, even in your own house.
There's even the third police.
Yes, the thought police, the monitor.
Whatever you think in your mind, you feel like you want to express it to someone, or they will get you. And there's a room where they torture them called Room 101. Where they call it Ministry of Love, but it's not actually love. They would torture you and beat you, not to physically demoralize you, but to kill that your dignity, that your sense of belonging,
and whip you back into, conform you into what Big Brother wants you to believe. So basically, basically, it's all about that. And for those who say it's funny, for intellectuals who will believe are knowledgeable. They don't even know this, that the concept was actually gotten from, from
Yes.
so should I say an academician, so to say,
Yes.
because I read George Orwell's Animal Farm way back when I was in as a student of literature when I was in secondary school, and also importantly, I think I was about finishing university then, because I know I was in my final year when I was working on the program. So I finishing the project, I went on to even treat the concept of Big Brother as my final year project then, and I could also remember my HOD, my head of department in Lagos State University School of Communication. And I mean, the man really gave me his support, his advice, how I should even go about it. And it made me, so I'm not even just talking from the perspective of someone who has worked on the project before. I'm talking of, with someone who has done this research, proper research about it. So it's done all over the world. There are different angles to it by which you have, each country tries to adapt the program to their own culture, like the one we have done here. Even recently that they called it Big Brother Niger. You understand? They bring the Nigerian flavor, the Nigerian culture, the Nigerian way of life into it. So basically, I don't think it's just one of those programs.
As a matter of fact, there are even very, in my opinion, I would say that there are very glaring evidences to why the program is just not some rubbish, like some people say it's rubbish. It's not rubbish. There are some glaring evidences to that. I mean, if not for anything, you have people who, for every single time it comes up, the very first week or the first 3-4 days are always jolly days.
Yeah, sure.
Jolly, happy days. Then by the second, third week, you begin to see all the twists and all that, which is a very realistic experiment. Because I mean, whether we like it or not, we will always have to deal with fellow humans like us.
Yeah.
And for the tag Big Brother Naija, it means that even within our own country, Nigeria, how you are bound to always deal with different personalities from different backgrounds, different
walks of life,
different upbringing,
background,
And I like the fact that it's even for young people, because they are the ones who would really portray what their ideas really are like. They have the vigor, they have the everything to go all out to show that this is what I believe in, and this is what I think life is. This is my perspective.
And I think it's some sort of orientation too, if I may put it like that. I think it's some sort of because you mentioned youth.
Yes.
You mentioned youth, and it now depends on does the government, or not necessarily the government, we all say the government, maybe the Ministry of Culture now wants to. We've had several brands.
Yes.
Placing as a form of advertising, or like they call it product placement. You now have the housemates delivering, carrying out some certain tasks. So, there's nothing bad if the Ministry of Culture could catch in on something like that. Like, have them portray things that has to do with our way of life, our Nigerian way of life, the Nigerian spirit.
Yes, that was even
the patriotic spirit of Nigeria.
The last episode where each person had to come forward telling us about their culture, background, dressed in
you understand,
native attire and all that. But then the show would give you a simple primary background to the fact that how would you deal with different personalities, like how would you accept first of all that this person is bound to be different from the kind of person I am, judging by the fact that we are raised differently, we're exposed to life experiences differently. That's a very big lesson that I feel like if every youth can come to terms with, we wouldn't have so much issues like we have these days. At least if you're going to have big issues, it has to be something of more of a deeper source than just this frivolity and all these irrelevant kind of troubles and issues that we have. If I know that, okay, because of where you come from or because of the kind of environment that you grew up in, you are your kind of person, I am my kind of person. When you make certain points or you say certain things, I'll be able to accommodate you. And that is why I think the show, we hear about people getting disqualified because they behave a certain way against the Big Brother rules. It's because people fail to, and I feel like the direct irony of that is the fan base attached to each personality in the house. Once one or two things are, yes, she's getting angry because she this, she's that. The next thing I hear, somebody will say, and that's how you Yoruba people do. That's how you Igbo people behave. This is typical Yoruba people. So now, how can we pick from lessons entailed in Big Brother Nigeria, especially as it relates to, and how can we now, by extension, apply it to other Nigerian issues, especially our political scene?
Okay.
We saw,
going to ask that.
yeah, we saw the amount of weight and support the winner got even before it was announced the eventual winner. Everyone was already making good guesses about, oh, this is going to be the winner, this is going to be the winner. So I feel like if we apply that same support, that same huge weighty throwing we gave to the winner, if we apply that same thing to our politics, to our political scene in Nigeria, I feel like a lot would change. And I'm not just saying that, oh, you're throwing support for somebody because, you know, the support we threw in for the winner wasn't based on anything. It wasn't because somebody promised us that, or somebody promised the people who supported the winner that you're going to get this, we'll give you this, we'll give you guys tips. But we went all out and people said, this is the person we want. So if we can take that stand as young people in this country to say that this is what we want, not just in electing leaders, but in very vibrant issues, pressing issues in the country, if we say this is what we want to see happen, and we see a large percentage of young people taking that stand as in passionately, the way we saw that demonstrated, a lot will begin to change.
Yeah, I think you're not far from what other people do. I mean, I've been seeing some write-up online and people saying probably we should channel the energy, the same energy we gave Big Brother. We should also channel it towards our policy, most especially as it concerns politics in Nigeria. But I tell you something, the Big Brother brand or franchise as it is something that has stood the test of time, you know, for a long number of years. Number one, it's a brand. We're not necessarily saying we're not saying our politics should be a brand but well, it's not a product, but Nigeria itself, you know, when it comes to the kind of image you want to project about Nigeria, how we want things to go well for ourselves, then we should begin to learn from all these things. You know, we're not saying, I mean, of course it's not a TV program. Nigeria itself is not like a TV program, but if we can learn from such a program on TV, then why not? I mean, why not? It's almost relevant to what is happening in our political space, like the Big Brother program, Nigeria. Um, um, you vote. There's a voting system, a nomination and voting system. The same thing we have in our politics. The votes are verified by an independent, by an auditing body, Deloitte or something like that. I don't know. The same thing with INEC, but well, but I think one important thing is that, and I made mention of the Big Brother brand itself. The thing is, this is like a TV, something that has been packaged.
Yes.
So can we have the same packaging for Nigeria? Can we have the same, level playing field where everybody can contest
on the same level,
without any influence
or somebody having long edge over the rest of the very start. Yes.
I mean, take for instance, someone like Lekon won recently.
Yes.
The other time it was Messi. A female, a young guy who was even perceived to be the underdog on the show.
Yes.
You understand? Can we have the same thing in Nigeria?
Yes.
Can you or I, stand up tomorrow and say you want to contest? So can we begin to have the same thing happen in our political scene in Nigeria? Without any influence. You understand? Like I also said, the Big Brother thing is like a brand. Can we begin to package our political process like that? Big Brother is interesting to people. That's why it has those fan bases. I mean, people rooting for one person or the other.
Yes.
We have the same thing with supporters for our political parties and their candidates. But can it be well packaged? Can we make the bottom line is that, can we make our country more interesting to us, the citizens?
Yes.
Just like the Big Brother show. Yes. Can we make it interesting to
and that would have
ourselves?
A whole, an obvious level of transparency.
Yes, a whole lot. I want to be.
Let's get involved every step of the
I want to be interested in my country more than the United States of America.
Yes, everybody.
You watch their movies. We watch their series. We follow their fashion trend and everything. It's because of all this thing goes along. Maybe our music is doing it for us. Yes. Then our movies, our lives, not necessarily our lifestyle. Maybe the fashion aspect of it, and but we need a whole lot more, and an enabling environment, an environment where I can wake up today and say I want to do this thing, and I don't need to know anybody else. I don't need to have one connection somewhere before I can get that dream actualized. These are things that like I said an enabling environment. You look at the Big Brother house, they are well fed. It's not as if they wake up. Yes, we'll say because of the show. I mean, but why can't we have the same thing in our lives? You understand? Why can't we have the same thing? They wake up every day, they are not hungry. They are supposed to go for a task, and they are well prepared. They are well provided for. You understand? So it's like the same thing. You want to achieve this thing, you have the resources at your fingertips. You understand? So those are the things, those are how to make it more interesting for ourselves.